I returned from Alaska tired and beaten down by a terrible start to a new season and a new idea. 0 for 2 is not acceptable and surely not expected. With less than a week to prepare for a Wyoming pronghorn hunt, my mind was filled with self-doubt, knowing all I'd risked to chase this dream we call fresh tracks. Simply put, I was failing and I knew it. The stress I placed on myself to succeed is ever present, but I was completely unprepared for what would happen over the next 2 days. I got back from Alaska on a Tuesday night and spent all day Wednesday unpacking, doing everything. And then Thursday night I'm laying in bed and it's like someone took a spear and jabbed me right here. I felt like I was just stuck to my bed. And I sat up and I'm like, oh my goodness, what is that? I'm thinking, it can't be a heart attack. I'm running up and down these hills all the time. I know I'm not having a heart attack. Finally, about 6 in the morning, I haven't slept all night. Thought, well, I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna go over to my kennel, I'm gonna grab my dog, and we're gonna go for a run, and I'm just gonna work out whatever this problem is. So I went over, got the dog, and I made it to the end of my driveway and had to take a knee. Now it is so bad. I can't breathe, I can't anything, and the thoughts entering my mind is, Randy, how stupid is this? You're gonna die of a heart attack right in the end of your driveway? At that moment, I realized, hey, this is serious. A trip to the ER confirmed what I had refused to believe. I had, in fact, had a heart attack. A blood clot had lodged in my heart, something my cardiologist called the fluke. Lucky for me, I had no permanent damage, but it could have been much worse. And besides my health, I knew my Wyoming antelope hunt, and maybe my entire hunting season, was in question. I begged with the doctor. I asked him, I said, you know, doc, look, I gotta go to Wyoming. I gotta do an antelope hunt next week. And he said, well, I don't want you to leave on Monday. Can you wait and leave on Tuesday? So that's what we're doing. I got young, strong camera guys. They wanted to do a little extra work anyhow. So it's hard to explain why I'm doing this, other than I'm committed to telling a deeper, wider, stronger story about hunting, what it's like to be committed to conservation, what it's like to be passionate about the things that we love. So that's why I'm doing it. Me and my buddy Mark are going to Wyoming and we're gonna go shoot 1, hopefully 2 big antelope. And we're gonna take you with us. You know, the more I think about it, the more I realize how lucky I was that this heart scare happened when and where it did. Because nothing heals my heart more than hunting the pronghorn prairies of Wyoming. And I've got the perfect partner, my longtime friend, Mark Hirvonen from Marquette, Michigan, who, as it just so happens, has had his own share of heart issues in recent years. So he's the perfect guy to keep me and my reckless enthusiasm in check.
And he won't let me walk over there because I'd be going up a hill.
Still, just 5 days removed from an actual heart attack, I'd promised I'd ease my way into this hunt. So we spend the first evening scouting, hoping to locate a few good bucks.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4 bucks in this little basin. If you could combine the best of all 4 of these bucks, you'd have the whopper. We looked at a lot of ground tonight, and we know everything over that way on the lower end is really dry and hardly anything. You got to get way up. And there's 1 windmill we found that had water, and what do we see, 7 or 8 bucks around that? Yeah. So let's load them up and try not to run the truck through a big badger hole, and we'll go get a bite to eat and be back in the morning.
Makes sense to me.
It's the first full day of my Wyoming antelope hunt, and based on the sheer numbers of bucks in this area, The odds are good that today I'm going to test my heart and push the boundaries of what I've promised my wife and my doctor.
We're all bedded down, but there's 18.
Yeah, 18. That's only 36 eyes.
Mark and I have located a large group of antelope with what appears to be one really good buck.
I just don't know how we're gonna get up on them. They're up on this perch, looking down at us. And we gotta come directly upwind. We got to put our face into the wind. Just because if you tried to shoot crosswind and this stuff, your bullet drift, anything over 100 yards, your bullet drift is gonna be way out there. I bet you those two towers up there, those two tanks, I bet you're right on this corner of BLM.
Yep.
And so they're laying right on this boundary here.
Yep. Well, there should be a road to get to that tank.
You know, it's amazing how many people email me and say, how do you draw so many tags? How is it that you can hunt these areas that have large numbers of animals and usually pretty good age class? It's maybe a secret I shouldn't be telling everybody. These map chips right here, it's a company called huntinggpsmaps.com. It's the most sure-proof way to know where you're at, to know you're not going to trespass, to know that you can hunt this spot or that spot. It is one of the secrets to how I am so successful in drawing lots of tags and how we end up being in places where there's a lot of game.
That is a big buck.
Huh?
That's a big buck. All right, I think we have to move.
Okay, boys, we need to move before they decide they're done with their day bed. Because we want them to stay right there, but we want to get over there.
We gotta get over there. Yep.
I don't need to look at him anymore. I know
Me
that
neither.
one of us need to shoot him. So we spot this really big buck right over here. We pull up, I get all excited. I tell Mark, you're gonna kill a whopper buck. And he refuses to get his rifle out of the truck. He says, no, you're gonna kill a whopper buck because I ain't shooting him. I had a heart attack 5 days ago, and Mark says this is reward for all that I've been through in the last week. But rather than fight with him about it, I guess I'm gonna go shoot it. Everyone needs a friend like him, even if he can be a son of a at times.
Well, I really appreciate Mark's gesture. My release from the doctor does come with some restrictions. I'm under orders not to climb any hills or walk more than 600 yards. A serious disadvantage in this terrain when trying to close in on a buck in his doze.
400 yards. Yeah. They're looking right at us. It was calm. A 400-yard shot I'd take. And this kind of wind, they're bedded right on the lip, looking down this way. I don't know what to do.
Wide open Wyoming desert, Mark Hirvonen and I are plotting strategy on a trophy pronghorn buck. But the open ground and the screaming Wyoming winds are really complicating this stock.
Wind is just a killer. I could sneak right up here and shoot him from that if the wind wasn't blowing. If I can get to 350 and shoot from the prone position straight upwind, I might have a chance. 43. That group to the right, that's he's got his butt right to me.
Yes, he does. He's turning. There he is. Way over him.
Way over?
Not way, like a foot.
What?
A foot over him.
How could that be?
Really? Man, I set that CDS dial for 350. As is often the case when you miss an animal high, they aren't that scared. When they get out there and the does are up on this ridge and the buck is just down below them, if there's a crosswind of any amount, I wouldn't be taking the shot. If I was even up on higher bipod, I wouldn't be taking the shot. But I am tucked down in there. This is like shooting off a bench.
Oh, nice one. You got him. He's down. Wow. That was a hell of a shot.
Now that the buck's laying there, I remember looking at him through the scope, and after the first shot, I looked and some other bucks took off that way. I'm thinking, did I shoot the wrong buck?
Well, the suspense is killing me. Let's go.
Huh?
The suspense is killing me. Let's go.
It's not killing me, it's got me worried.
I'm not worried.
Yeah, I think you're right, Mark.
He's the one we were looking for.
He's what I thought he was. I almost gave myself another heart attack thinking I shot a piker. Got up there, really heavy mass, really good prongs, good length, big head on him, great cape. Everything I was looking for in a buck was laying right there in front of me. I would have been happy at any point in my life with a buck like this, but what I've been through the last week, just strange. It's almost surreal that I'm able to come out here, find these public lands, do this cool thing. And I have a saying that I always use, and anything I write, it says, hunt when you can, because you're going to run out of health before you run out of money. Hunting, I guess, is a way that I take care of that problem. Thank you, Buck. Thank you so much.
You know, we often say things like never give up, or things are always going to get better. But sometimes that's hard to believe when things are going so bad. And that's why this buck, out of all the animals I've ever taken, represents more to me than words can explain. And the best part? We've still got 2 days to find a special buck for Mark.
That's a big buck. There's no doubt about that. I'd shoot him with your tag even.
With one great buck down, we're back on the hunt trying to fill Mark's tag. And there seems to be a lot of good candidates here in Central Wyoming.
You know the fun part about looking for antelope in Wyoming is you can see hundreds of bucks in a day. The downside is, of that 100, finding the one you really want isn't as easy.
It's our third day in Wyoming, and even with my recent health scare, I'm feeling better than I have all season.
Well, this scouting is fun, Mark.
Yes, it is.
When are we gonna get on with the killing?
As soon as you give me a bullet.
We've got one goal right now, getting Mark a trophy buck. And I think we may have spotted him on day one of our hunt, but we just weren't quite sure at the time.
Yeah, he fits most of the prerequisites. Mass, less than 100 yards.
I gotta get a picture of this one.
We spotted the same buck again on day 3.
That one's about as postcard pretty as it gets.
It is.
Just wish we had a view at about 30 yards instead of 300.
Yeah.
But this time, we ran out of daylight while debating whether or not to make a stop. which left us just one final day to get the job done. We started the morning where we'd left off the night before, sizing up the big pronged bleached out buck that we'd named Blondie.
Well, last night we put a buck to bed right over here. He was up feeding and we just watched him bed again. And I think if you get to that ridge, you've got about a 150-yard shot, straight up wind.
Yeah.
If you want to shoot him.
Well, I think we'll take a close look.
Sounds like a plan. It's cold this morning.
Our stalk is slow and deliberate. Mark has a plan to close the gap on this buck, getting as close as possible. My job is to coordinate the circus of 3 other guys in this pile of camera gear.
We gotta settle down and take a minute because it takes that long to get all the camera stuff ready, make sure our audio is right. We've got 2 cameras. It's way more complicated than when you are hunting at home. There he is. He's been coming around this side. He's laying there and he sees us already. Get ready. You might have to raise your sticks, Brad. Nice shot, Mark. He's down. Blondie bites the dirt. Congratulations, Mark.
Thanks, Randy.
That is a great buck. So if you want to see what it's like to have a circus coming through the sage, we've got this big camera on tripods. It's usually up higher and a camera guy. Obviously, we got a guy running this camera, and we got 2 hunters, and we're trying to sneak up on these animals. We got 4 times as much noise, 4 times as much movement, 4 times as much scent. How we kill anything on camera, I still shake my head like, wow, we must just run into a couple stupid animals every once in a while.
Clean living.
I know for a fact that I'm one of the luckiest guys on the planet. Just 5 days ago, I was at an all-time low, sitting on a hospital bed, worried sick that after the debacles in Nevada and Alaska, my big new idea, and more importantly, my very life and my health might be in jeopardy. But the last 4 days in Wyoming with one of my dearest friends has changed the game completely.
Oh my goodness. Holy cow, Mark. Look at that. Look at these prongs.
When I got a little better look at how beautiful that buck was and how blonde, and his horns were really much better than I had even anticipated. And I could see Randy was starting to bounce around, and I could tell that he was really excited on the buck. So,
well, after some tough hunts in Nevada and Alaska, came to the public lands of Central Wyoming and got off the schneid, as they say. This is a good way to get back on a roll. And from here, off to New Mexico for elk. Wish you could come with, Mark, but I wish I could too.
I know that no matter what, this new show will succeed. And I leave Wyoming more energized than ever to not only find more fresh tracks, but to make my own fresh tracks for as long as my health allows.